Well, I'm here with one of my favorite people. She's my healer sometimes. She's my student mentee sometimes. She's my friend all the time. Amanda Smith. She designed toilets for space. Okay. Seriously. She's Her background is she's an aerospace engineer. She worked for NASA and truly she helped design the toilets for the space station. I mean, you can imagine how do you go wee wee without gravity, right? So I just want you to know that she is a very logical, strategic mind. She is a scientist and she's a medical intuitive, a deeply gifted intuitive healer who bridges these worlds of seeing the systems of the body and of energy and bringing that into her work, body whisper healing. So she can use her intuitive mind and her systems mind to scan your body, to give you like a body scan and to see what's what and to see where there could be some issues and to see how to fix it. So she's also been a lifelong athlete. She often works with female athletes who are dealing with mysterious health issues or any like go-getter, type A, hard driving perfectionist. She can actually wrangle us because we tend to be difficult. Horrible patients. And especially when there's something weird and mysterious happening, how do you get to the bottom of that without some intuitive insight? So welcome, Amanda Smith. Welcome
Thanks.
back onto the show. We had another great conversation previously. But today I brought you on in part because we've been talking about drum journey and you were part of the last class I taught drum journey to. And look what happened. Look what happened. Boom. So I thought, let's hear some of your stories and feedback on like what this modality of drum journeying has done for you and for your practice. So da
Mm.
da da da. Hi.
Thank you for having me.
I'm
I'm
so
so
glad you're
happy
here.
to be back.
Yay. Me too.
And like, oh, the drum journeying that you taught. I remember the first day of getting together in group and you taking us on a journey. And for me, that first moment of dropping in is this big splash of white.
Mm,
It's like the screen gets turned on.
mm.
And then all these images started pouring through, and I was just like, holy crap. I thought having all these clairs that I already have
Yeah.
was, cool and fun. But this took it to a whole different level. It was like dreaming, but on purpose. And that changed everything. Because then we did a journey for a partner in the group, and that was magical and powerful. And just the person I was reading for or journeying for, she looked at me and she was like, nobody knows that except Mellissa. And I was
Whoa.
like, okay, Mellissa, what do I do with that? And now looking at I've journeyed for hundreds of people at this point. Looking
Wow.
back at how it's evolved and how it's changed, it is the core of what I do with my clients. It's it's how they know that what's happening is magical and that what they're going to get out of the work is powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that when you started using drum journey and you were already so intuitive, you were already giving brilliant readings. You were already able to sense into things, to feel into things. But I noticed something happened when drum journey came into your life. First of all, your prices went way up.
Yep.
Tell us about that for a minute.
Well, that was an evolution for sure.
Yeah.
When I started offering journeying to my clients, I realized oh, we've taken this work to a whole new level. We've given them a story along with the healing, the data, the logical chatter. And that story actually gave them much more profound healing than me going, okay, you've got all of these issues showing up, and let's go take this supplement, and let's make sure you're not eating these foods, and doing all of those logical doctory kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
This made it so much more potent. So I started charging a little bit more and then a little bit more. And it started off at, I started charging $97 for a journey. And now we're up to $797 for a journey.
Right.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, you know, some coaches are like, charge as much as you can for la la la. That's not what we do. We charge according to the results and the promises that we can deliver. And the reason why we have you up to $797 a journey is because the results you're delivering with these journeys, it would be wrong to charge less. It would be offensive to the work. It doesn't. So it's hard for some folks to imagine, well, how could an intuitive session be that valuable? And yet both you and I have clients who keep coming back for that experience because it's worth every dang penny. And it would feel so wrong to charge $97 for it. It would be like, you can't do that. You know, you just can't do that. So yeah.
It's not honoring the true magic, the true power of what's happening. They're getting instant. As I'm in journey, they are getting instant shifts. Most of my clients have experienced some profound, weird thing going on while I'm in journey. So I specifically tell them, okay, pick a time on my schedule and set that time aside for your own meditation, journey, whatever, but do not be operating heavy machinery. Don't be driving a car. Don't be in a meeting, because you're going to feel it. And almost every single time they come back and tell me, oh yeah, here's what I felt. Here's what I experienced. Here's what happened to me. I went on my own journey. I've never journeyed before. Those kinds of reactions and responses to doing this kind of work, that in and of itself tells me, yeah, that's some power that you hold.
Yeah.
And there's respect that has to come with that. And part of that is the financial exchange.
Yeah, it is. It's just part of our human experience that we have to invest in things to take them seriously.
Yep.
And it's funny because some people have said to me, oh, well, that's, you know, you can't charge for spiritual work. And I'm just like,
why?
I'm pretty sure that is a Christianization message that was put on Indigenous folks and other spiritual practitioners to shut them down and make it impossible for them to actually deliver the full power of what they came here to deliver. And I checked in with Maria, our Apache mama, about that. And she's like, oh, you're darn right. She's like, my great grandfather was a healer. And every time he did healing ceremony with someone, they were giving to him. It was expected. But she's like, the difference is we didn't use money. We used chickens. We used horses. We used blankets, pots, pans, like stuff, because we didn't really work with currency. But she's like, there's no difference. And this whole story that you can't be paid for your expertise, she's like, she's not our way. I don't know what they're talking about there. You know, I don't know what they're talking about there. People need to be in equal exchange to create integrity, relationship integrity. If you want to make it a trade, great. You want to make it a pay it forward, great. But there has to be an investment, and the investment has to match the impact. And so this drum journey, and some people call it shamanic healing drum journey. Okay, but honestly, this form of journeying with the drum has existed in every culture, every single culture, no matter where your blood originates from. They were drumming, and they were drumming for this purpose. So it's so cool to hear you speak about this because I know that you've got such a science background
Hmm.
and
I'm
you
neurosciencing it right now. I'm thinking, okay, so when we drop into drum journey, we're going into a theta state, but the drummer's kind of in an alpha state. Yeah.
wow. Yeah,
That's
that's true. There's a number of different brain waves going on.
hmm
And these states, these various brainwave states, they're natural to us, obviously. They're our brainwave states. So they're not a form of intoxication. They're not
plant
happening
medicine.
from a trauma. Like there's a lot of ways that we can drop into a deep state. We it happens every time we drop into the dream or into a deep sleep state or a REM sleep state. We are changing brain waves. That state between waking and dreaming is a similar state to drum journey. You just can't control it. You like have this great idea as you're waking up, this big realization, and then it's gone. And you're like, crap, I wish I could stay in this twilight. And that's one thing that we're doing with drum journey. So I remember with your group, which was really the last group I taught drum journey to. I have a deep reverence for the work and for the protocols that need to happen to keep people, I want to say safe, but I don't want to make it sound scary, but to keep people in
No.
alignment with their intentions and in alignment with the right energies so that the results that come through are in the highest good. And I remember feeling cautious, and you probably remember this. Like I was cautious. I'd been preparing you guys. I'd been guiding you, with recordings and stuff already, and you kind of already knew. But then when we got to the retreat, it didn't even occur to me this time because it had been a while since I'd taught it. That you would be journeying for clients after
Yep.
that one weekend.
Yeah.
And I kept saying to you guys, like, whoa, 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 don't journey for other people, don't journey for other people. And the truth is, because you'd been prepared in the same way that I'm preparing people with the drum journey training that I'm doing this year, actually, there's even more this year that's a little more structured. um, you guys dropped into such deep, clear, responsible, effective states of journey on that retreat. We were all blown away. And
hmm
before we even said, okay, start journeying for each other, like, okay, now choose a partner, get consent, clarify the field, follow the protocol, drop in, before we even did that, you guys were already starting to pick up messages for each other just because you were in the field.
Yep.
And then the next day, I was like, well, for crying out loud, I can start teaching you how to hold space because you're doing it. It's like naturally, as soon as this door is opened, I'm finding, and maybe it's a sign of the times, maybe it's because so many of us are waking up more deeply. I'm finding as soon as you understand the protocols and the door is open and you're connected with the guides that help you with this and you are in the highest good, it's like your calling makes drum journey your own. And
hmm
I witnessed this with you, how your drum journey is so much beyond what I could teach you, because I could teach you the system, the protocol, the way, the how to, and then I could help you navigate the questions as you used it with clients to make sure that you had systems of your own. But you
hmm
made it your own. And the way that you drum journey is different than the way I drum journey, is different than the way Laura does, or Alina does, or Jeremiah does, or anybody else. And I'm just like, that is so rad because that's how I think how tools should work. They shouldn't be this religious, dogmatic, this is the rule and you have to do it this way. It should be like this is a chainsaw. It's very powerful. Let me show you how to use it. Let me show you how to maintain it. Now you go use it. You use it in your own forest. You use it with your own firewood. You use it with your own sculpture. You use it as you will. You just really need to know how to use it first.
hmm
So
Yeah.
thank you for, the way that you receive gifts of spirit and then systemize them in your own way. Are there any things that come to mind as I say that you're like, oh yeah, probably this part of how I do journey might be different, or
I think speaking to the fact that you make the container so safe. That is the right word, because there are fears that we all carry, and we're all walking into this kind of training with. And to know that you've got our back, and you've got so much experience to be able to guide us. Like that first journey when I journeyed for somebody else, and I was like, okay, so they knocked me out during this time and I saw nothing. But then I came back with this image and I didn't understand it. And you were like, okay, you weren't allowed to see that thing. That's why they knocked you out. And this thing that you saw, when you explained it to the person receiving, did they have a response to it? And I was like, yeah. And you were like, that's it. That's all it is. And I was just like, but I don't have to understand it. And you were like, no, you do to an extent so
To an
that you can
extent.
deliver the message. But you don't have to know how that other person's going to receive it. And I was like,
Right.
okay. Now I feel like I'm being encouraged and held to grow.
Mm.
And that to me is so unbelievably important when you're looking for someone to teach you and train you in these kind of modalities. That is the most important thing to me. And I've been working with you for years and years now. I always know you have my back. And I know I've watched you do the same thing with every single client you've worked with. So thank you.
Mm. Yay.
Yeah.
It's my purpose as a mentor. This is something that Maria taught me. It's my purpose, and your purpose too as a mentor, to put myself out of a job.
Yes. Heck yes.
And I've seen
Exit
that with
strategy to
you and
mind,
with
of
so
course.
many. And it's like, oh, you come to me to learn drum journey? Great. I'm going to teach you the protocols of drum journey so that you can get so good at it that now I come to you. If I've got something going on in my body, I need you to journey for me, I come to you. And that's like my favorite thing about being a mentor, is watching my mentees become my mentor. And it's almost like a leapfrog, and then you're like, oh, but now we're going to do this other thing. Okay, I'll be mentor to you for this part. And then we just, I really trust that. I trust that I have mentors too, like Maria, who will, hand me the proverbial microphone and say, okay, go kid, you've got this ceremony. It's like, mentoring should not be hierarchical forever. It is for a while because that's how it works. We hold our clients in a drum journey. We're holding their energetic body. Like we've got their back, we've got their front, we've got the whole thing while they give us that. And then when it's over, we give it back to them. We're not holding on to it. Now you better come for another journey to learn the next piece. It's none of that. And that's a big part of what the training is. And the certification part of drum journey training is like learning the subtleties to make sure that we are honoring our roles as co-creators with journey and being in aligned integrity with bringing such big power through us as conduits. So thanks for speaking to that.
Heck yeah. Had to.
Yeah.
It's not about
Yeah.
me.
Well, yeah, I don't even know what else to say. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to have a whole new crop of drum journeyers. I keep learning more and more ways, like you've taught me new ways to use drum journey. Other people that I've taught have, and I just feel like our community is growing, and it excites me to think about how we smart women of analytical and professional backgrounds can use this system to tap such vast information and power. I just don't know what's impossible anymore when we're doing this.
I completely agree. I've had journeys where I'm going into outer space. I've had journeys where I'm going underground. I've had journeys where I'm seeing things that aren't of this planet. And all of that is just like from my aerospacey brain, like the logical side of me is going, well, that shouldn't be possible.
Right. Totally.
But that's what the drum affords. That's the power of being in that trance-like state so that you can actually gather that information and use it wisely,
Mm-hmm.
use it in integrity, use it to the highest good always, and transfer that message. And the fact that the retreat is on your land, your land and I have a relationship, a
I know
very
you do.
deep
I
relationship.
know.
She protects the crap out of me every time I camp on your land, which is pretty much every time I come to your house. And to have 4 days of retreat for these journeyers on your land, whoo, I can't wait to hear how that turns out.
It's
Just that
definitely part of
part.
the secret sauce. You're right. That
Oh yeah.
collaboration with the land and the drum is like a heartbeat of the mother. And it just leaves you so grounded and so rested and also a lot of magic. So, yes. Thank you,
Yeah.
Sacred Cedars.
Right.
And thank you, Amanda. Thank you for coming here and having this conversation with me. I love
Okay.
you. Appreciate you.
Mwah. Love you too.
Bye.